This is an example to show you how you can use Python and a full-fledged game engine and the same types of algorithms we've been talking about in our class to be able to work a 3D environment. Now, I've got a program called Blender, and it has a game engine with it, the Blender game engine. That game engine, you can use Python to script things. I've got a little scene right here. I'm going to hit P for play. You can see that I've got a blue block that's moving around the screen. This blue block is running around in basically the same algorithm that we have in our prior bouncing rectangle algorithm, but I've got the addition of the Blender game engine physics going on, which makes the game a lot more interesting, and it's also just the whole 3D environment. But the code behind it really isn't that much different than that bouncing rectangle algorithm. So let's see how this actually works. The code for the program is up here on the upper right hand side. The first thing that I've got is import BGE. This is really similar to import Pygame, except in this case I'm importing the Blender game engine library. Not too much different there. Right here I'm getting a handle to that blue object that's moving around. This will be really similar when we start introducing classes and objects to what we'll still be doing inside of this class. The print statement that I've got right here, when I run this program, and I'll go ahead and run it again, you'll actually get to see the different coordinates as the blue object moves around the screen. This will be similar to the same XY coordinates that we've got working with the bouncing rectangle, but in this case it's the XY coordinates that we have on here with this flat plane. You can actually also get Z coordinates, but this fairly simple example doesn't use the Z coordinates, and we just leave those the same. Right here, I'm taking the position at 0 and 1. Remember, when we work with the mouse, we also have to get the coordinates and pull them out as 0 and 1. In this particular case, I'm getting X right here, and Y, it's stored in a small list that's at position 0 and position 1, and then I adjust it by the XChange variable. This is different probably than what we're used to, because we usually with a variable use a 0, 1, 2, or 3. However, if you go back and remember on the chapter and list I talked about associative arrays. This is an associative array, and it allows me to, instead of using 0, 1, 2, 3, actually use strings in order to figure out which item in a list that I want to work with. You can go back and take a look at the chapter and list. It's not really necessary for this particular course for you to figure out how to use associative arrays, but you should recognize that they are out there and what they are. This is the if statement, just like what we had with the rectangle. I check to see if the boundary is beyond 6 or beyond -6, because the coordinate system kind of works like this. I've got 0, 0 in approximately the middle, and as far as X goes, positive 6 is going to be over here, a -6 is going to be over here, a positive 6 up here for Y, a -6 down here for Y. Anytime you cross that boundary, I go ahead and take the XChange value and reverse it, take it times -1, just like I did in the other program. Now you note that I don't have this whole thing as a big loop. There is no while loop in this case. The program, Blender Game Engine, automatically does that for me. So that is in the Blender Game Engine, and I don't actually have to do the while loop. I just have to do the internals of the while loop whenever I fix that up. Alright, so this can give you a little bit of an idea that what we're learning right here is applicable to larger full-fledged games, including the types of games that you do for a 3D game engine, and that what we're learning you can apply. I'd encourage you to go ahead and take a look at, check out books on the Blender game engine, or look online. You can actually start applying some of the stuff that you've already learned and start working with a Blender game engine, even if this particular class right here doesn't cover it in detail. I would encourage you to go out and take a look at it if you're interested in it.